so we're back at the shop, and last week you got to see a video of us essentially pulling the cylinders off, finding corrosion, and then obviously one thing led to another, as I mentioned, and we got into the cam, had some concerns with the cam. So as you can see behind me, unfortunately the engine had to come out. I've got a picture of that right here for you to take a look at. We're going to now walk through the next phase, I guess as I would call it, of the inspection of what we found. It's not exciting news by any means for me, but it's exciting from the standpoint that we're going to get to fix this engine, get this plane back up in the air before too long, and I'll walk you through the details of exactly what the team found over here. But first, let's get changed into some appropriate clothing so that we don't get, the work attire dirty. Okay, that's much better. I feel like I'm ready for the shop today. All right, well, we're gonna take a look at what happened. The engine's out, as you can see, there's nothing there, which is a good sign because that means we've got things torn apart. But when I walked in, the first thing I was greeted with was my crankshaft. Okay, so the wonderful news is the crank was out when I got here. The bad news is we've got corrosion right here, you can see. And this is towards, so the prop would be mounted here, the prop hub, and then we've got this corrosion around the front with the mains here. That's a bad sign for us because we need to now send this off and have that checked. Okay, so now that we're done with the crankshaft, let's go take a look at the case. We've got the case, we've got the camshaft, and we've got a few miscellaneous parts, connection rods, all those kind of things. What we found in here is that the cam itself looks relatively good, but it's got some wear. We can see some of the patterns of the wear here. So we're going to end up seeing if that can be serviced or not and sent off. But the rest of it looks pretty good. The gear itself looks real good, so that's all positive. However, we've on these bearings here, we're starting to see some of the corrosion creep in, and you can see that there as I wipe it. So that's not a positive sign for us. That's not a good sign. We've got pitting all across there, so that's going to end up getting replaced, which is why I dropped it. Connection rods look good. They've got a little bit of corrosion around here, but not bad. It's nothing major. Everything else looks pretty normal, but we'll have those sent off as well. All right, let's go take a look at the shelf of parts as well. So arriving at the parts shelf, a lot of parts on this rack. What I wanted to show you real quick was the pistons. So the good news is this piston still has the flashing marks on it, which is good. That means they have very low wear, and that's a good thing because these pistons are expensive. I do not want to drop these parts. Next part is the wrist pin. I'm gonna wipe this off just a little bit here. You can see on the wrist pin, you can see it, you can feel it more than anything, but there's corrosion and pitting right here on this wrist pin. And if I turn that around, I'm pretty sure my mechanic is gonna have my hide on that. Don't tell anybody. Actually, I'm just kidding. We don't need this wrist pin, but that's why, because of all the pitting that's on there, we're gonna end up replacing these. Okay, let's come around over this way. So the intake valves look really good. Essentially they have been ground, they've already been sent off and brought back from the gentleman that we use. Those look really good. So this cam follower has also some wear on the top of it, you can see there. The good news is that can be sent off and serviced, and we'll get those sent off and taken care of. All right, so the next part we're going to look at is the next shelf here, which is the fuel system. We sent the fuel system off to Ram Aircraft, and Ram Aircraft went through all this, and really what they found is in the fuel pump there was essentially a diaphragm in there that was not working like it was supposed to, so they ended up replacing that. Everything else, the fuel servo, the spider valve, all that looks really good. No problems there. These are the rings that came out. Nothing major with the rings. We didn't see any issue with those. So we're good to go on that. Obviously we'll get new rings. I guess essentially what I would say is we went from replacing cylinder number 5 with a potential burn exhaust valve to what looks to be a complete overhaul at this point.